then Eljin will get us started.
Okay, perfect. Well, welcome everybody and greetings and humble salutations. I'm glad for everybody to come in and on the wonderful Saturday to get the information about surviving your freshman year of college. And this presentation is sponsored by the National Society of High School Scholars. This conversation will be co-hosted by myself, Eljin Rhymes, the Vice President of Scholarship Development, and Helena Coloma, co-vice president of membership engagement. Next slide. Today's outline for our wonderful presentation will include who we are, our admissions records and registration, the finances and financial aid of college, scholarships, academics, student and campus services, on campus versus off campus housing, student and campus safety, student campus life, and at the end we'll have a Q&A session to answer all the burning questions that you might have after the presentation, and our contact information alongside the National Society of High School Scholars Leadership Program. All right, so who we are, as mentioned, my name is Eljin Rhymes. I am based in Tallahassee, Florida, and my university is Florida A&M University. I major in industrial engineering. I'm a fourth-year industrial engineering student, entering my last year of college with the career goal of industrial design for graduate program. So that includes SolidWorks, AutoCAD, making 3D models based on the computer system to make sustainable and effective solutions for optimization of processes and systems. My involvement with National Society of High School Scholars is as a Collegiate Council Executive Board, Vice President of Scholarship Development, as I was one of the first founders of the NSHSS Conversations with a Scholarship Winner program. You may have seen the series throughout this past year and have noticed, there's a good way to get connected with the scholarship winners and to get advice and tips for the scholarships that are available and how to win them. And I was selected as a 2021 National Society of High School Scholars Collegiate Council Leadership Board Award for $1,500. Now, Helena.
Hi, everyone. I'm Helena Coloma. I am majoring in biology at Harvard University, where I transferred to from at UC Berkeley previously. So I'm continuing my undergraduate there. My career goal is to become a military dentist. And specifically, I just wanted to have a career in the healthcare field, and then also wanted to help, our military armed forces in our country as well too. And so being a military dentist kind of combined both of those passions of mine. And my involvement with NSHSS is Eljin and I are both on the Collegiate Council Executive Board. My role is I am the co-vice president of member engagement along with our other member Lexi. Together, we co-founded NSHSS Coffee Talks program. Coffee Talks, it's a once-a-month event that we host, and it's an informal discussion where members can drop in and ask or talk about anything related to NSHSS, academics, anything related to even like college and career-wise as well too. So I've won 2 different NSHSS scholarships. I won one back in 2018 for the STEM Innovation in Artificial Intelligence, and then back in 2021 for the Collegiate Council Leadership Scholarship. And then now we'll begin with our first topic, which is going over admissions records and registration. So when you're first approaching college, or as an incoming freshman, you're gonna have to go through the admissions records and registration office in their department. And so we're going to be sharing different resources and tips for all these different areas that you're going to encounter while in college. So to begin with is these are a list of resources recommended for you to at least know about before you enter, or at least while you're as a freshman. So it's important to know your registration calendar and the college catalog, because these two kind of resources, they kind of give you a breakdown of what of like the certain dates that you need to know, like certain dates to like add, drop classes. Also gives, sometimes like the dates of like final exam schedule, which is also discussed there on the resources. College catalog, it gives like a breakdown of all the different classes that are offered at your college campus. Or your university campus, and which is a really good thing to know if you just want a resource that has absolutely everything all in one spot. Again, what I mentioned, the registration calendar, it gives all the certain dates that you need to know about pertaining to your college. And I included on here evaluations of transcripts, prerequisites, and co-requisites. So, as an incoming freshman, you're going to need to have your high school transcripts forwarded over to your college. And if there was any work or any college coursework that you completed prior to entering college, meaning like if you were dual enrolled as a high school student and you took any college work, it's important to have all these transcripts kind of already prepared and ready to kind of bring and upload over to your college. So then by the time you're registering for classes and whatnot, all of it's already uploaded and prepared, because one of the worst things that can happen is, you're all ready to register for your classes, but it's still being asked that you need to upload this document and prepare all these different things. And then I gave a list of different petitions and forms to kind of know about. With your admissions and records department, they'll have different forms for you to know about. So there's things called like a reduced increased course load, where if you want to request not to be full-time, or if you want to request even more than the full-time amount of units, depending what your personal schedule is like. If you want to like a reduced course load, say it may benefit you if you're taking a lot of if you're working at the same time and whatnot. And then I also include on there transferology or assist. So that kind of goes back to what I was discussing earlier, where if you were taking any college coursework, um, either in high school or you're taking some now while you're in college and you don't know if it's going to transfer over. Say if you decide to go to another college or university in a couple of years. So something like that would benefit you if you're looking to transfer, which is something I utilize when I transferred from Berkeley to Harvard. And then some tips for you to know, definitely know and memorize your student ID number, because that's going to be asked of you multiple times. Know what your specific registration date and time is. That'll be notified to you or informed to you by your college or university. And just know it's your responsibility as the student. It's not your professors or your parents or guardians or anyone else's responsibility to add or drop you or to withdraw from a class on your own. If you choose to add, drop, or withdraw from a class, that's something you'd have to do yourself. And it's important to know that there's a limitation on the number of pass or no pass courses that you can take, depending on the college or university. So if you don't want to take something for a letter grade, for it to count towards your major or transfer over, it's good to know how many courses you can take that are pass and no pass. And then moving on, I'm going to move on into financial aid and finances. This is another department that you're going to encounter when you're first registering or beginning your college career. And so some resources that you probably already heard of, or if you don't know, there's the FAFSA or the DREAM Act if you're undocumented. Both typically open on October 1st of every year. And they're just important things for you to know about, and having all your documents and financial documents prepared before you complete them. Some other finances or financial aid that you may typically hear about are grants, loans, and the work study program. So grants typically is money that's given to you that you don't necessarily have to pay back. Loans are typically the ones where you do have to pay back. Typically after 6 months of you graduating, you'd have to pay back these loans. But again, these are just like a list of resources that you might encounter when you're seeking financial aid, but it depends on you as a student to kind of do your research and see which one works out for you. Typically grants require like an application to complete beforehand, or sometimes you can look into your college or university seeing what they offer. Work study program, it's kind of in the name. So you're working as you're a student, and typically the work and the jobs that you're getting, they're ones that you would do on campus, and they work with you and your schedule to make sure that whatever work study job that's being given to you, it works with your class schedule. So some tips to kind of keep in mind as you're going through all these different resources on what you want to use for your financial aid. The money kind of just depends on how quickly and completely you turn in the application. So there's like a greater chance that you'll get more money distributed to you if you can more quickly and efficiently turn in your application. Definitely set aside time. Try not to procrastinate to complete these different applications like the FAFSA and the DREAM Act, because it's going to ask you to prepare a whole bunch of different documents as the ones I listed on there, including like your social security number or your federal income tax return, all these different things it may ask of you. They may typically ask it more of your parent or guardian, or let's just say if you were already working at that time, it's going to ask it of you as well too. But recently, the FAFSA has been kind of has like this federal income tax return or the IRS data tool that kind of helps with like transferring over all that information for you already. But just kind of having all those documents ready beforehand will help you a lot. And then, yeah, as I mentioned earlier, money that's not given as any grants or scholarships are typically offered as loans. Eljin will talk about scholarships in a bit. And just overall, it's important to note various colleges and universities have different policies for their financial aid. So if you're confused about what your college may offer or you want to discuss what your options are personally, feel free to make an appointment with your financial aid office or an official. But we mentioned scholarships, and then Eljin will take it from there. Oh, let me go back. There we go.
Thank you, Helena. Okay, as Helena mentioned, scholarships, everybody wants them. And as a college student coming in or an incoming freshman, this is your best and greatest time to take advantage of it. You know, being in a scholarship and asking and requesting for scholarship doesn't have to be major or classification specific. You know, even as a high school and a high school freshman, you can apply for scholarships that can apply for your college career as of now. And the research that we have that's specific to your college scholarship search can be specific to your college or university, aka merit scholarships. Merit scholarships are typically broken down into GPA and major specific scholarships. So let's say, for example, if you were in the STEM field, STEM study, and you have 3.5 GPA coming in, those two indicators will allow you to apply for the merit-based scholarship. And for merit-based scholarship, they usually are renewable scholarships that you, as long as you keeping your academic requirements up to par, typically as your GPA or community service hours in some cases, you are able to renew your scholarship for another academic year that it can be cycled into your graduation or even post-graduation in specific cases. Your surrounding community colleges, community colleges are great, also another great resources for you to be able to fund your education for what you want to do. This include your major specific colleges. You can include even technical and trades. They even have resources for supplying funding for students that want the money and want the education. They provide the resources for it. As long as you're being proactive as your advisor or your school board as to where the resources are and which is the best option for you as a freshman coming in or somewhat. Another great resource is extracurriculars. Being a part of a club or honor society is a great way to have access to a plethora of funds. You being a National Society High School scholar, going into your college career, it goes beyond just your high school. There are plenty of scholarships that the Honor Society offers for Collegiate Council, and with more coming in, and as the college and society continues to grow, there will be more opportunities for every major and every specific every area to grow and to apply for the funding that is available. The next one up is sports. I was a student athlete initially coming into college as a middle linebacker for my football team, and academic and athletic scholarships were one of my first few scholarships that has helped me pave the way to where I am in my scholarship knowledge, my academic career so thus far, and to and at the point I am to where I've learned how to be disciplined in my academic and athletic adventures for creating more balanced work-life balance and student-athlete work-life balance for all those who are student athletes here. Another great resource that I personally use a lot is the Thurgood Marshall College Fund resource. This resource applies to HBCUs and PBIs, so predominantly Black institutions or historically Black colleges or universities. There are 107 HBCUs nationwide, so if you attend any one of those HBCUs or the PBIs, you're automatically qualified for the Thurgood Marshall College Fund and all the scholarships that are available for it. As mentioned, the NSHSS, a great resource for scholarships, scholarship portal. When you go head to the website, there's plenty of scholarship rotation that goes around every year, and typically the best times are fall and spring. So, now that the fall is coming in and school is becoming underway, I would highly advise to apply for the scholarships that are available. The other organizations that are good resources that I personally use myself to win scholarships, or I have known of other scholars or fellow colleagues that have, include Scholarship America, the United Negro College Fund, so UNCF, FastWeb, Scholarship Owl, and scholarships.com is just a few of the many that are out there that are guaranteed and legit services that will provide a scholarship for you as long as you apply. And organizations partner with the National Scholarship Providers Association is another great resources to expand your scholarship search for what you need, what your requirements, and what is the best scholarship that fits for you. Now, we'll move on to the tips as to what really makes you stand out as a scholarship candidate. There's always a question that was always asked to me. Just a quick little personal story about myself. I came into college with only $100 of scholarship money to fund towards my education, and with that scholarship of $100, they really motivated me to push forward and to push past the adversity of having just $100 just to start off with. So through effort and dedication and just applying the scholarships and really believing in myself, I was able to amass thus far anywhere between $60,000 to $70,000 worth of scholarships from the resources that I have provided, and the NSHSS provided me with a great portion of the money that I was able to allocate to fund my education to make me able to provide this far into my college career and to even think about going beyond for my graduation and professional career. So the story doesn't matter how you start, it's all about how you finish. And that's my personal philosophy I would like to mention to everyone. But off the side note, the tips and tricks that I have listed above include letters of recommendation. This is probably one of the most crucial portions of applying when it comes to applying for scholarships, because reviewers of your application want to know and want to see what type of person you are outside of what the paper says. There's only so much that you can take from a person from the resume or the application that they put down. They have to hear from a third party and unbiased opinion as to what really determines, are you a valid candidate? Are you a scholar that they're looking for to represent their scholarship fund, their scholarship program, or even their partnership or sponsorship to move forward so they can trailblaze a way for other academic scholars like yourself. So this can come from coaches, this can come from mentors, teachers, professors, anyone who's had a significant time spent with you and have watched you over time to know your habits and what type of discipline, academically, educationally, athletically, anywhere of that note, to know where you stand in that regard. High GPA. Now, I will put asterisks on this. Your scholarship when you win a scholarship does not necessarily depend on how high your GPA is. Typically, most of the scholarships that I've ever gotten typically range between having either a 2.0 to a 3.5 at max GPA. And, being academic scholars, which you all are and very well capable of, anywhere between that range or even outside of those ranges, you still have the opportunity to win a scholarship, not just based on your GPA. And really the top three quantities that I would say that they look for is um, your scholarship and community involvement, your letter of recommendation, and the strength of your application essay, which moves me down to the fourth quality, the tip. Be passionate about your short essays and essays. These reviewers read hundreds up to thousands of other applications, and they don't just want to keep seeing the same steps and the same repetition. That's where you come in and to wow the crowd to show that you are unique in your application and that you are separate yourself in a positive way from the other applicants, because that's what they want to see. They want to see how you've had your unique adversity experience and how did you transcend that. So be confident in yourself, believe in what you're doing, and just know that scholarships, even though if you don't think you're applicable for it or applicable for it, still apply anyway. There's hundreds of scholarships that never even get funded to anybody just because nobody applied because they didn't think that they could, or there wasn't a lot of strength in the schedule when it comes to the application. So even when you don't think or believe that you can, I would implore everyone to go for it and go after it because you never know what you can win. So moves on to the next slide. Your academics. I've said it as previously mentioned in the last slide. Choosing your professor and instructor is a crucial part of when you starting your academic journey. Now that's using rate my professor. That's using knowledge from higher classification of students, specifically juniors and seniors, because they've already went through the process. Um, Getting word from the advisors that are on campus as to which professor provides the best teaching style to you, because you at the end of the day you're paying for these courses, and if you're going to pay for something, why not pay for something that you want, not what you're forced to get. So being thoroughly planning out your class schedule using a campus map and registration calendar is a must, and I will highly recommend it. The better that you plan and schedule your fall and spring or even summer semester, the better your academic career in college will go, and less arduous in the end, to say the least. Especially when it comes to midterm and final exams, trips, family trips, adventures, vacations come up, or breaks come up. So you want to find that balance between student academics and personal life, because that's what honestly just makes the college experience all that much better. So getting to know your professor is also another great utilization when you come into your academic career, because the more that the professors know you and can see your face, the more they're willing to help you and work with you when extreme circumstances come out. So let's say you couldn't turn in a project because you had a personal experience happen that you couldn't really necessarily help. They'll be more willing to help someone that they've seen, come to the after hours, come to the study sessions, come to and ask questions than someone who really just sat in the back and didn't ask questions and really didn't interact with them, because it's a lot harder to get that personal feel for the person that they're trying to help. So it goes a long way, and it shows that you care about what's being taught. And teachers and professors, there might be some in here, and educators who really appreciate when a student takes the proactive effort to make a statement, because they're here for you and they're here for your best of your success and the best of what you have to offer and wants to see you succeed. So taking attendance to the office hours is a very great thing. And one of the keynotes that I personally like to mention is mental health. You know, college is a hard experience for all of us, especially after coming off of a pandemic. You know, it's even more stressful and more of a mental strain than ever. You know, you're having all these great pandemics or even urges of a pandemic happening, and we all want to have a better mental health when it comes and coming back into the on-campus environment from coming from remote work or remote graduation as some might have experienced. You know, that was a lot of time of isolation. So when coming back on the campus, you know, having a positive outlook and having a positive mental health is a key crucial step and key crucial point to keep in mind when you're going through your academic life. You know, it's okay to take a step back. You know, if your class is really stressing you out, talk to your advisors, talk to the on-campus amenities that they have for therapy, and even talk to some of your friends to really get it, get your mental health out and get it into a quality state of mind. Because if you don't have good mental health, then the academics really kind of fall into a domino effect from there. So that leads me on to the time management portion of the academics. When it comes to studying, I found from after my academic last being 3 years in college, that studying at least 2 hours of studying per credit unit is a great way to keep on top of your academics and keep on top of having a great GPA and easing the stress of your academic schedule. Now, this is a philosophy that came from my previous high school. Um, when I was in high school as a college preparatory school, and it seems like a philosophy that's been working for me thus far. And I will say that even though it's not directly proportioned to every class, it's directly proportioned to class that you know that has the strength of the difficulty, which leads me to the next topic on the time management portion. The higher the number of credit hours equals the greater the challenge of the class. So coming into college, you can have any class from between 1 credit hour to 6 credit hours. Anything above that, that more so goes to the graduate studies program. But having that number of credit hours and knowing that the difficulty of the classes increases as you progress through your college years is a great way for you to utilize the first rule of the time management of studying at least 2 hours. The more that you study for the higher number of credit hours, the less you have to worry and stress about it later, especially finals week. Resources that can help you with the tips and it will help you with the academic course curriculum is the Know Your tutoring services that NSHSS has partnered with. Grammarly, Quizlet, Khan Academy are a few of my personal favorites that has helped me through my engineering courses and has helped me keep on task and keep on track as to what I need to understand or concepts for either a test or a quiz. Because not everything can get explained in a short amount of time frame of a school class. So getting these outside resources will greatly help you with your academic success when it comes time to test, and utilizing the learning assistants that are provided in the class as well, or teaching assistants as sometimes they're called, because they already took the class and they already know how the whole um, the whole arena of the class works. So utilizing them to the best of their abilities is a great way to stay ahead of the curve as well, and utilizing your tutors as well. So moving on to the next slide. Student campuses and services. Like I said before, there are plenty of resources and opportunities that you can look for that your university or college provides as toolkits and helping guides for your success. So this includes your student email and newsletters. These can include important information about new scholarships that are available, new opportunities for work study programs, internships, study abroad. You name it. A lot of the resources come from these student emails. So as you get into the college life, it is going to seem a lot more arduous and tedious to keep up because Eventually it just keeps on piling up with like 10 to 15, 20 emails a day. But if you sift through and take the time and sift through and find the one that works for you, then they are great resources for exfoliating the what the college has to offer, while you having the choice of picking what you need to see and what you want to see. So as mentioned before, tutoring is another great resource that most campuses or colleges provide. Academic and career advising is another great way to get advice as to how to navigate your courses and what you need to do to graduate on time. Counseling for your mental health, or counseling for any personal related problems, or anything of that nature. Campuses provide that services, including health centers, health insurance, for all your health needs. Dining halls, food banks, and pantries for anything that you need for food. So if you need help with groceries, or you're not financially set, um, financially apt, the poor college student philosophy is a very real philosophy, at least in my experience. I don't know about Helena, but at least it's been for me. Technology and textbook programs are another great resources to fill in your technology and needs program. So you can look into your college or university to see if they offer programs for either rental technologies or toolkits that you'll need for to be academically successful. Transportation and transit system is a great one because, as you know, gas prices have been kind of going up. So I would take a full advantage of that if you can, and including disability service for all those who need it. Um, my tips that we have is to explore all your services at your specific college, because you never know when it might help and who it might help, because your friend might need it just as well as you do. And services advertised around campuses or orientations, um, by asking your advisors and counselors. They're great resources that will help you achieve your academic success as well. And I will greatly advocate to utilize them to the best of your ability. So as we move on to the next slide, we have the on-campus and off-campus living experience. Now, for the parents that might be on call, and you might be wondering, okay, which might be the best for me as being on campus and off campus living? And the answer really depends on your situation. Being in state, and my personal experience, being in state and going to college in my state, in my same city, um, on campus versus off campus was a bit of a gray area for me, because I had the choice to do either or. But for those who experience going, thousands of miles or hundreds of miles away from their hometowns and out of state even, that becomes a real challenge when it comes to determining which is best. So the picture we have here indicates, the pros and cons of each one in regards to the social atmosphere, safety, privacy, and so forth. And as you can see, staying on campus for the social atmosphere and safety tends to have a greater rating than off campus. Typically, with those two services, you have to do it more so proactive yourself. Social atmosphere, being around your fellow peers and classmates, which does provide an atmosphere of having someone to make connections and make lifelong connections, because in college you can find your lifelong best friend and you never know it, or a lifelong connection that might help you out. And being safe on campus, colleges and universities do their absolute best to provide safety and care for the students. And being on campus site that has a already pre-designated system makes it a little bit more secure than being off campus, where you might be in an off-campus apartment or student housing center, where the security is not as strengthened as it would be on campus. So moving on to privacy and independence, really these two areas kind of interconnect, because it really varies and depends. Privacy on campus and independence on campus really depends on you, because as you transferring from the high school stage to the college years, you want to keep in mind that most of you and some of you might be a little bit younger, but once you translate to college and from high school to college stage, you're typically 18 years old, and you kind of have some sort of freedom and semblance away from your parents, at least when it comes to making choices for your own sake and your own safety. So keep in mind that that area is always varies, depends on what you want and how you want it. So proximity to campus and ease of maintenance. Typically on campus is better for that. Being close to campus definitely helps you out with your class schedule and definitely helps you out with getting to your classes on time without having to travel from wherever the off-campus location might be. And the ease of maintenance is typically better on an on-campus experience. So we can move on down to the meal plan and the bills. On campus living typically comes with internet, water, electricity, all utility expenses, and typically comes fully furnished with amenities and desk and drawer sets and everything that off campus doesn't typically provide, or it's a little bit harder to find depending on the area and location of your of your living situation. So the least flexibility, amenities. At least usually when you stay on campus, you typically have to stay on for that academic term. You do have the option to switch out at the end of every academic semester. So the fall semester, you can stay for that fall and switch out for the spring, or vice versa. And the same for spring and summer. When you coming in and you don't necessarily have to stay in the same spot. You can switch to different living halls or situations. But when it comes to off campus, the least flexibility depends on your apartment leasing status, which management company that you're going with. So it really all depends on your situation and how comfortable you are with the flexibility. As mentioned, the furnished versus unfurnished option really depends on the location of the apartment and the services that it provides. So moving on next, I will give it to Helena to explain the student and campus safety.
Thank you, Eljin. So right now I'll be going over student campus safety, since it was touched on in the last slide when trying to decide between on-campus and off-campus housing. As a student, keeping safety in mind is an important thing, especially if, for your parents and guardians, they'll be worrying about your safety as well. So these are just some resources and tips of what you can do as a student and, as a new young adult into the world of things that you can do. So typically during your orientation or during one of your first few meetings, or even in your classes, your first week of classes as a student, they're going to be going over safety with you. So some resources that you may typically hear about and see is campus escort and transportation services. Now, when we're talking about campus escorts, those are the ones that would typically walk you even to your classes. When I went to UC Berkeley, that was an option that they had. So if you're going from somewhere a little bit off campus to in campus, or just even going somewhere from in campus on campus to another part of campus, there's these resources where other students or even staff members of the school, they'll walk with you personally or take you there personally from one destination to another if you feel like you need someone to go with you. And then of course there's transportation services that are kind of offered. Sometimes you'll see those electric bikes around, or bikes that you can use, but typically there's buses that can help transport you. A lot of colleges and universities, they give discounts or free rides if you're a student and it's on your student ID card, to utilize the transportation services within your college campus, or even around the city in which you're going to school at. And then of course there's campus police. A lot of colleges and universities have their own kind of police on campus to kind of handle any emergencies that may go on. And typically you can find that kind of information just readily available on like your campus's like website and such, or it may even be on your student ID card, even in the back. Those kind of resources like your transportation or the police, those will definitely be made available to you, or you'll even see it like posted around your campus or university, even when you're walking around on how you can contact them. And then there's of course there's emergency call boxes. So like there's like in case of emergency and you need to make a phone call and you don't have your phone, there's usually sometimes like call centers or boxes laid out around the campus where you can just like dial the phone number and then get the help that you need. Depending on where you're going to school, there may be different protocols on how they would handle emergency and disaster preparedness. So if you're going somewhere that's more prone to like storms or floods, they'll definitely be going over things like that with you, whether that be through your orientation or your first week of classes or whatnot. And then you're going to see like there's a lot of different softwares or software programs for kind of like alert and for your privacy. So, and for student security. So I know for me, like I regularly use Duo Mobile. So whenever I'm trying to log in to a device using my student information, it's going to ask me on my phone if that's me who's trying to log in. And things like this are just extra steps that your college or university takes out of the like goes out of the way for to make sure that your security and privacy as a student is being protected. And I mentioned on here like public alert. This is something I've used or something my college gave to me called Rave Guardian, where it just sends you automatic alerts on public safety announcements that you should find or that they feel that you should know about as a student, whether like something like there is like an emergency or disaster preparedness that you need to be aware for, whether that be with the weather or whatnot. And then on top of that, there's like student advocacy and identity resource centers that may be offered to you. So if you're identified with the LGBTQ plus community, or if you're undocumented or have disabilities, there's these resource centers that would be open to you and would definitely help you out, or if you're an ally. And there's also prevention and wellness services. And I know this was talked about by Eljin earlier when dealing with your academics and whatnot. So if you need any counseling or mental health or education on any of these, um, like substance abuse and any of these or cyberbullying, anything like those that students regularly face, there's definitely prevention and wellness services that are offered. And then a lot of campuses offer offices of equal opportunity in student affairs, and usually those ones where they advocate for equal opportunity in student affairs, they're just more to help protect your rights as a student and for activism. So, and a lot of these resources you can kind of find listed on like your school's website, or whether that be if you reach out to a counselor and ask what are the type of resources that are provided as a student for my safety. A lot of those will be prepared for you. And some tips for you to know, even as a student, is you should try to learn your way around campus. A lot of colleges offer like campus maps of like their entire campus. So if you're wondering like where's this and where's that, or you're trying to find where's the emergency call box or where is the campus police or where are these like prevention and wellness services, it's good to know, get an idea of what your campus map is and have a relative idea of where things are located. Another tip is to always use locks. So if you are going to use a bike, definitely get a lock for your bike, because just in case if it gets lost or if you're trying to park it somewhere, just so that it doesn't get lost. And then also as a student, or even just even not just as a student, but you should just always inform someone that you trust of where you're going and when you're going somewhere. Just so then you'll feel safe knowing that someone knows where you are at all times. And then also another thing is we all have phones and we're all very into our devices nowadays. So try to keep your phone charged as much as you can. So before you go to sleep, and then utilize, a lot of campuses are investing in charging stations that are posted all around like the buildings and whatnot. So you can definitely like utilize those ones, or know at least where you can charge your phone if you're having an emergency, or you can always invest in a portable charger. That's something that could be easily bought at any store. So these are some tips and resources for managing your safety as a student. And then I'm going to go a little bit over the student campus life. So if you're wondering about like clubs or organizations that you can join, I'll be going over that. So there's two different classifications of resources or classifications of organizations to know about. One are the registered independent organizations, and then there's a registered college university organization. So I'll be going over both of those with you. So the first one are the RIOs, registered independent organizations, and they're typically formed by students based on a shared interest or activity. So that can range from anything from sports to politics or even just like a game or a movie that you all like all together. And then typically a member of a faculty or staff serves as like a volunteer advisor. And if you're wondering, you can either join these type of organizations, or if you notice there's one that doesn't already exist on your campus and you would like to, you can reach out to your your student campus affairs and activities center, and then they're typically just going to ask you to like fill out what kind of things that you guys are going to be looking to do all together, and then ask you to seek out like a member of the faculty or member of the board to serve as an advisor for it. Or you never know, there might be even be a faculty member that hears about you wanting to start your own RIO and volunteer already. And then the second one is registered college university organization. So these ones are typically already are set up and sponsored by the college and university, and they're typically affiliated with a certain department or unit. So they may be like specifically like the science department or the mathematics department. And so there's going to be a whole bunch of like organizations or clubs or even recreational sports that you may see on campus. So that would include like the academic and educational ones if you need like specific tutoring or you want to help tutor. There's community service if you want to, volunteer or you want to start your own volunteer work. Sometimes those may include like working with, so for example, you may see a lot of like Habitat for Humanity around like a lot of college campuses that they regularly do. Then there's a third one, media and publication. So that would include things like journalism, or some colleges even have like a yearbook that they do similar to like what you see in high school. And then there's political or multicultural ones. There's recreation, and there are recreation and sports. Student government, usually those are the ones that would help, ones that you'd see that lead the student government on campus. And then another one that you may see, the final one you might see, are just the religious and spiritual ones that you would see. So, and a lot, if you're wondering where you can find these types of like extracurriculars, they're typically advertised on your college website already, or you may see within like the first week or first couple months or first couple of weeks of your classes, club fairs that are going on. So when you're walking through campus, there's going to be all these different clubs and organizations kind of advertising already where you can join them. They might bring up the extracurriculars even during your orientation as well too. And then you may even see it like around campus, these clubs still advertising, and then or in your student email and in newsletters as well too. So just to touch on that, having your student email and checking it on a regular basis would help a lot too, because it's things like these where you could learn more information about what you can join on campus as an extracurricular. And then I included on here this link by topuniversities.com on 7 different types of like college student organizations. So if you're looking for something, they can, like, this link kind of helps break down all the different types that you can access. Okay, and then I included on here, before we jump into the Q&A, kind of included if you want to reach out to either me or to Eljin, these are ways that you can contact the both of us. These are our NSHSS emails, so if you need to contact one of us about, like for me, for member engagement, or you want to know anything about scholarships, whether that be through NSHSS or like how to obtain certain scholarships or any tips, you can reach out to Eljin for that too. And then I'm going to open it up for the Q&A now, but in the background, I'm going to have information about how to join our leadership program in the back as well. And I'll flip back and forth between our contact information and this one. I did want to address, someone sent me a message asking what are amenities that Eljin was bringing up during the on-campus versus off-campus housing. I wanted to ask Elgin if you wanted to touch on that since that was you're talking about the amenities that are offered on like on campus and off campus.
Oh, sure, no problem. The amenities that are typically offered on campus versus off campus are includes your utilities. So that includes bills of electricity, water, gas, energy, and internet services. Those type of amenities are typically what is included into the on-campus housing, and attached to that can also include the washing machine services. Typically in the on-campus building, they'll have a section in for washing your clothes, drying your clothes, and whatnot. Or um, if they don't have it on campus, it's right near campuses. So it really depends on the college and where it is located. I also can provide services to like vending machine options for either snacks or even laundry products that might help you with your washing your clothes. And so those are just a handful of amenities that might be available. Each campus is different. So I can't go into too much specifics as to which you should or might see, but I know that the ones I've listed or touched upon were some of the basic amenities that are typically provided in colleges or universities that you choose. So hopefully that answered the question as best I could.
Yeah, that was great, Elgin. I also wanted to kind of include like some other amenities that you might see are some on-campus housing might provide like their own gym or like a workout center that you can utilize. He also touched on like washers, dryers, and then even to some offering like their own tutoring centers. I know at least for me when I had my on-campus experience, like we had like our own like tutoring rooms or study rooms, study rooms and like tutoring centers that were offered on campus. And the whole reason why it says off campus, it varies because it just kind of depends on um, like your landlord or whoever you're going to be seek or getting the off campus housing from if those certain things are included. But I, at least for me, like I had like a gym and like study rooms and like tutoring um, centers included with mine. So I just wanted to add on the extra information, but Elgin answered it fully.
Right. They also include libraries and writing centers as well. So if you ever needed to write an essay or get research from a first primary or secondary source for your research essay or topic, the library is also like a great amenity that the college provides on the on-campus version to really cater towards research projects or anything that might do academically for that you might need. Help peer reviews are a great resource as well, alongside the tutoring services that campuses provide, because that's a very needed topic and very needed even from freshman year to even the senior year. I still need help on some of my essays because I'm not the most prolific writer out there. Engineers sit more to the technical side, but it's amenities like that make the process and making the on-campus living a more viable option for those who's looking for all-inclusive instead of exclusive experience when it comes to off-campus. So hopefully that answers that a little bit more.
Yeah, and I just wanted to like add on a little bit. That was great. Usually like with like these like tutoring or writing centers, they're like other students that are just like you who did they did fairly well in like the class that they're going to be tutoring in. So or they might just be like other like staff members or like other like teachers or professors that may be volunteering. But typically it's like students that are just like you and me who are offering their services in that and like things like tutoring, like in the mathematics, science, or anything in STEM, or even in writing, or like history, philosophy, psychology, sociology, and whatnot. Those are typically like free, and you just have to just seek them out on campus. And just wanted to say, you guys are welcome to either unmute or you can write in the chat if you have any additional questions. Um, but like if you guys have any questions that you want to ask us, it can be about the presentation or or if you just want to ask for any advice whether it be with like college or career or whatnot, we can definitely answer those as well too. And then in the background, I'm just going to keep about our ambassador and collegiate council programs if you have any, if you're interested in those as well. We are going to be wrapping up in 3 minutes. So if you had any questions, just feel free to let us know. In the meantime, I can kind of explain our leadership programs. And then if you have a question, feel free to like interrupt me or if you want to write in the chat. So we have as a student, we have like 2 different leadership programs. There's like also our fellows program, but that's, I don't know if we have anyone that's already graduated from college or whatnot here, but these are our 2 leadership programs that we have right now. So the ambassadors are for any high school students. Collegiate Council is for any of those enrolled in a college or university. And we kind of included on here how you can apply, what email to reach out to if you have any questions. And then we also included when you can apply as well. There's always applications open in the fall and in the spring, in case you're interested for both of these programs. And then Eljin and I were on the executive board of the Collegiate Council. So if you have any questions about that as well too.
Mhm. Any more questions that anybody would like to ask? We presented a lot of information, and it might seem a little bit overwhelming, but please, I employ any questions that might need to clarify on a topic that we touched on or anything of that magnitude. I would love to explain a little bit more, a little bit in detail, or if you have a question that you don't necessarily feel to answer right now, you can contact us on the slide via our emails, our on-site emails as displayed on the board. So either contact Helena or myself through the CC_scholarships for at NSHSS.org for any questions pertaining to scholarships, or for Helena, any information provided for membership engagement and how to get involved with Honor Society even more. So, if you want to ask us personally, either in public or personally, we're always open and always glad to help out anybody that needs it.
Okay, so it is about time and we want to be respectful of everyone's time. So we're just going to be wrapping up now. Again, if you have any questions you want to ask, you're still more than welcome to, but we are going to just be starting to wrap up. So I just wanted to say thank you everyone for attending. And I hope all these like resources and tips will help you, whether that be if you're in college right now or if you're thinking of college later on in the future. Both Eljin and I have a lot of experience, as you can tell, and I'm going to give it over to Eljin.
All right. Well, thank you, Helena. I definitely appreciate everybody for coming that out and hearing the wealth of knowledge that was mentioned between me and Helena. I'm thankful for the opportunity to get to speak to everyone and get to experience, share my personal experiences to help anybody that has been listening and want to pass on the information to another. I thank you for your time and allowing us to speak. And hopefully you can catch us on the next scholarship panel or Scholars Day Atlanta, which is a major event coming up. So I wanted to mention that for all those interested. I know we just recently had Scholars Day DC, right, Atlanta?
Yeah, DC in August.
Yes. So, if you wasn't able to attend the DC Scholars Day, I definitely and highly promote the Scholars Day Atlanta. It's a lot of fun. It's over thousand members attend this event every year. I've had the privilege of attending two within this last 3 years that we've been having it, excluding the COVID year. So, I would really like to see everyone there. And if you know someone that is a part of the Honor Society as well and wants to attend, definitely recommend them to employ so we can see you all in Atlanta. So thank you for your time, everybody. We really appreciate it. And any more questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.